Travis Head bats like Jamie Smith wants to bat, but is he a better player, or is it just a case of he's in a massive run of form, Jamie Smith isn't? Steve Smith played a tennis serve. If Jamie Smith had played that shot, all of the former players would have given him heaps of grief. Do you think England have fallen into the trap of you picking their best player as captain, as they did with Freddie in your time?
I think he's absolutely the right person to captain. I don't think there's no question in my mind that he is the right person to do it. I want Smith to be the driver of a higher England fielding standard, and that comes from him personally. Yeah. So, to start with, at the top, Graham Smith.
That doesn't count.
Followed by
the G. That doesn't count. The G's got to be the surname.
What? No, that's. I looked at yours and they're all over the place.
I even said to you yesterday, Gooch, Edrich, whatever. I mean, right. So I've won the first test on that basis. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Roll drive it.
I feel sorry for the kids that you teach. Right, cop that, my favourite feature, as you know. So my case for the defence is that he is potentially an England great. Just that today he's tired and he's shot. He needs a break. That clearly has a personal impact on you, given that your mother passed away of cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was young, really young. So that's had a big impact on me, even nearing my 50th year. Puma gave me a pair of pink gloves with the McGrath Foundation logo on it, and so in my little memorabilia glass cabinet they're in there.
Morning, mate. Frosty morning here in the UK. I need to get my microphone in place, otherwise you won't be able to hear me.
That's not a bad thing.
Day 3 at Sydney. It's the 18th pink test for the McGrath Foundation, raising money for cancer treatment and nurses around Australia. They've raised nearly £19 million since they started in 2009. That clearly has a bit of personal impact on you, given that your mother passed away of cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was young, really young. So that's had a big impact on me, even nearing my 50th year. So it's to see something like this, what Glenn McGrath's put in place, obviously through tragic circumstances with losing his wife Jane, but originally what was he set out as a breast cancer sort of fundraiser, has now really evolved. I was reading recently into sort of all cancer. So it's that money's amazing, and I know people, they love it. I've got friends out there who have sent me a photo today, and they've gone to the test and they've embraced it. Sort of Andrew Strauss does something similar here, and I've gone to Lord's dressed in a silly, in a pink suit. So it's good fun, whilst at the same time raising crucial money for such a fantastic cause.
And you forgot the memorabilia that you have in your box, didn't you?
Well, yeah. No, it's a shame. Actually, I know you like my props.
You've been lacking in props recently.
Bit of a rush. Day one, trying to get the boys up for school. Considering they haven't seen AM, in the past 3 weeks, and here I am at 7 o'clock going into their rooms. And so unfortunately, what it is I never played in the test match, but that 06-07 series I was out there. Puma gave me a pair of pink gloves with the McGrath Foundation logo on it, and so in my little memorabilia glass cabinet they're in there. They do even though I never wore them, they do sit there. So maybe I'll send you a picture, and you can do your magic and put it on at some point.
It's not me. Alison does all that stuff for us, so we can claim her magic and certainly not mine. It was a lovely start to the day, and the players gave their pink caps in, and then started the day's play. Australia started at 100 and what is it, 66 for two overnight. Travis Head on 91 and ended the day a long way past that at 518 for seven. I just find Ben Stokes' captaincy bizarre at times with regards to the compulsion that he has to bowl himself into the ground. Um, Opening, for example, with the second new ball with Potts and Cars, who we talked about yesterday. They've gone round the park again today. And then at the end of the day's play, we see Bryden Cars fielding an extra cover and he sort of pulls up with cramp. Can you get into the mind of Ben Stokes and sort of try and understand where this thinking is coming from?
Well, he's always been this talismanic leader from the front, and a bit like, in my time under Freddie, Freddie would, if in doubt, I'll do it. And Stokes has always been that sort of way. He's been criticised because it's clearly had an impact on his body, um, and so, and even at the start of his reign as well, we quite liked what he did with field placements because they worked, and it was quite a revelation when he came in, wasn't it? That it was that, wow, look at what he's doing. Look at these odd fielding positions, and
Mm,
part of it's worked. Carey for the third time has been out caught leg slip, so
yeah.
there's bits of it working, but at times you're also sort of wondering, hang on a minute, is he being funky for the sake of it? Where a bit like what we've cried out this whole series for. Let's the traditional field placings and let's sticking at it and doing that. So it this series is throwing up a lot, isn't it? And there's a lot of criticism being sort of given to players and to people, the whole system, and so it's sort of highlighting that Stokes, is the way he's captain, is coming under a bit of fire, but he's also not operating with a bowling unit that he probably has been used to. So he's maybe struggling with that a bit. And so then, I found it quite surprising, I'll be honest, that in that the opening bowlers that opened in the first innings, that it wasn't either one of them. So it was to back that up in the second innings when they didn't go well. Yeah, so it's just throwing up more questions as to the way, we thought it was a little bit rosy, but it's
Yeah.
day three's thrown it back in our face.
Funky fields um, sometimes suggest a lack of clarity, just trying and desperation. Do you think England have fallen into the trap of you picking their best player as captain, as they did with Freddie
Um,
in your time?
I don't think no, I don't think it's a trap. I think he's absolutely the right person to captain. I don't think there's no question in my mind that he is the right person to do it. Um, he's just for me, it's shown that a five test series against an opposition who have dominated us pretty much, apart from the last test. But it's just shown up. Even the bit with Marnus, the frustration there. That was a Ben Stokes that we always know is simmering. That
Yeah.
and so that's what's sort of coming out for me, and that's where that managing it with what he's doing, across with his bowling workloads. I think he's still. I mentioned it before. I think he's very frustrated with his own batting.
Mm.
So if he's so there's some things which are really frustrating him, and we're seeing that a bit, and so that can then come into the clarity, sort of trying to make things happen, wanting the game to move forward.
Jonathan Agnew on TMS said that he thought that the mentality within the England setup was okay, but the culture that Ben Stokes is leading didn't suit certain players. He mentioned Harry Brook and Jamie Smith, and he might well have mentioned Joe Root as well. What do you think of that? Do you think that sometimes when a team is shaped, and I know you like identity and culture as a subject matter anyway, but when a team is shaped so much you know, in the mold of the captain himself in this particular case, is that good or is that a good or bad thing when you're trying to build a team?
Well, as I said, I like the way Stokes goes about. He's the fittest of them. He's
Hmm.
he's a competitor. So in terms of his leadership there, I don't have a problem with it. It's you're right. It's how it's impacting others because not everyone can hit those standards and put themselves through the sort of the pain and everything that he does to prepare. But at the same side of it, it's coming across that he's not asking others to do that. He's giving them almost a bit. I know you guys don't have to go anywhere near me. You guys just do what you need to do. And so that's where the art of captaincy is working with individuals to sort of look at it and go, Harry Brook may not be someone who's going to go out and run 10Ks like the way that Stokes does. But there's an element that you need to get everyone pulling in the same direction. And it just, from the outside, it just seems as if there isn't that, there's a direction how they want to play, but how they're getting there isn't necessarily clear because they're just letting players, you don't, loads of sort of non-compulsory sessions. You don't have to come. Has been highlighted where the running session they did up at Noosa, only 3 guys showed up. And so that's, for me, part of your captaincy is subtly getting everyone working to their best and as part of a group. And so, there's even been, I was listening to TMS and they were talking about the fact that there's no fielding coach out there.
Mm.
And so, all they do is a few nicks. And so that again is like, for me, going like, how the heck can that be right? Because all that allows then is batters potentially. If you don't field in the slips and you're a batter, what else are you doing with your time and to sort of to drive you forward? And so that's where also the team unity comes to it. And so it's a balancing act, which it's been highlighted that they're not getting right. And so Stokes wants to lead going forward, as does McCullum and Kit. They all want to remain involved. And so it's then looking at everything like that and then going, well, 4 individuals, and that's exactly what it's like. The stuff I'm involved in with Kent, with age groups and with the women, you look at what is best for the individuals. What do the individuals need, whilst at the same time getting everyone working so that you can't point fingers and going, well, why are you letting them not do what I'm doing? Why are you making someone else do it? Yes, you're the hardest worker, we know it, but so it's a fine balance, which is something they need to closely look at after this series because it's clearly not right.
England have dropped 17 catches in this Ashes series so far, and the one that has caused today's outrage. Yesterday was Jamie Smith and his shot. Today it's Will Jacks spinning a sitter on the where was it? It was at the deep sort of square leg boundary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is it tiredness? Are they just mentally and physically fatigued? I mean, players of that standard. Listen, most club cricketers would have caught that catch, right? He was coming straight to him. He didn't have to move, but yet at the last minute, he takes his eyes off the ball and he spoons it. So is it a technique thing? Is it a lack of fielding coach, as you said, or is it just simply a case of we're knackered? Get me out of here.
Hey, listen, you're talking to someone who's good at dropping catches.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked it that way.
and you don't mean it. And some certain times, like Will Jacks today, the reason he dropped that catch, you're right, is because he took his eyes off it because he was so worried about the boundary foam where he was. And so, very easy assumption for me to make, whether it be right or wrong, is that how much practice had he done? And you see it with white ball cricket a lot, where fielders now practice that skill of fielding right on the edge. So if you topple over, you throw it in the air, you come back and catch it.
Yeah.
So the easy argument to have is that they haven't done any of that. So when he's in that position now, not having practiced it, he was unsure where he was and he wasn't confident. He didn't have any trust in himself. So in that last minute, at the vital time, he lost all trust in where he was and looked down and and yes, you're right. There's going to be so many club cricketers throwing their hands up in the air, going, "Well, I could have caught that," and it's just synonymous with this series. It's yet another thing to highlight in the fact that we always go to Australia and drop loads of catches. I don't know what it is, and the Aussies hold on to them. It's just one of those things. So it's not fatigue. no, I'm not going to put
Right.
it down to fatigue. Anything like that. It's all you can do is, and I'm sure. Well, listening to what it doesn't sound like they are working enough on their fielding. And so that's the only thing you can point the finger at, is that they're not doing enough fielding practice to build up trust to take those vital catches.
Travis Head was on 121 when that happened. He eventually was LBW to Jacob Bethel. Jacob Bethel looks like a love child between David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson, but he did get the vital
Wow.
wicket of Travis Head for 100 and what was he, 163, I think it was, at the end, 300s in this series. When we come on to cop that, I'm going to make the case for the defence of Jamie Smith. But Travis Head bats like Jamie Smith wants to bat. And what do you think the difference is? Look, we're going to get a pile on from all our Aussie listeners to say, yeah, Head's a better player and take this, that, and the other, and yada yada. But is he a better player, or is it just a case of he's in a massive run of form, Jamie Smith isn't? And I'm just going to sorry, this is one of my long, rambly, point stress questions, but Steve Smith played a shot today where it was basically a tennis serve. And if he was out, if Jamie Smith had played that shot, all of the great and good of the former players would have given him heaps of grief. So is it double standards? I mean, I'm not, Travis Head has batted brilliantly 300s in the series, but is he that much better than Jamie Smith, or is it just a case of confidence and he's in a run of form?
No, yeah, clearly he's confident and Jamie Smith isn't. There's a massive difference in their styles of batting. I must, Jacob Bethel made a comment today that Travis Head is able to play a cover drive to a ball that looks like it's going over top of leg stump or top of middle stump. And he's right, because I watched Travis Head and I think, how the heck has he hit that ball in that area? He slightly back of a length off on the offside. He hits it over the top. Whereas Jamie Smith is more traditional with his all-round play. That's one thing I do see. But where Jamie Smith, when it becomes short, that's where he's completely muddled. Travis Head is very clearly thinking currently as to the length, the line, everything that's going on with the ball. He's got a very clear plan, and flip that round. Jamie Smith doesn't, and that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. And so, I didn't see the Steve Smith overhead smash, but I imagine he was very clear on where he was trying to hit it, because of, I think, Harry Brook played a similar shot, I think, in his innings, because they had no one in that area. So it was a manipulation to get the ball in the right area. The crazy thing with Smith's dismissal yesterday is he got into a tight area and then he still hit it out to where a fielder was. And that's what you do in between balls. As a batter in between balls, you try and think what the bowler, you get one step ahead of the bowler. The bowler's trying to do exactly the same to you. And then as a batter, you go, right, what's he trying to do to me here? How's he trying to get me out? Okay. If he bowls it in this area, this is my option. This is my get out. And at the moment, it's sort of like, Smith's dismissal, there was no get out. He was just playing that shot no matter what. But I do think that Travis Head is unique with the way he plays. He can hit the same ball sort of back foot through point cover. And then in the next one, which he did he then whips it across like a pull shot and hits it through square legs. So I just think you're seeing a huge difference in clarity and confidence and trust in the way each of those batters are playing.
In the tale of two Smiths, Steve got his first 100 of the Ashes today. And he does what Steve Smith does, which is just really grind opposition into the ground. In doing that, he's now second to the great Don Bradman in the list of all-time Ashes run scorers. Obviously, batted very well and, batted with Carey and Cam Green and Bo Webster, is still there at 129 odd out. It's just a shame that Jofra Archer wasn't bowling, because he could have had a great retort at Steve Smith to say you only get runs champion when there's nothing on the line, which is a bit of a shame. But Steve Smith, a great batter.
Yeah, and it was to be honest, it was my fear with today's play is that you had Smith coming out on a wicket that was flat, and he it was set up for him to go, and I'm not surprised in the least that he got the 100, because he would have watched England batting, he would have watched Joe Root batting, and again he would have given himself huge clarity as to how to play on that wicket, and then all he had to
Mm.
do was go out and execute his plans, and that's what he did, and he was always going to just grind England into, and once he got in, the issue now is getting him out, because with the lead that Australia have got, again, from a position of strength that England had at one point, when Brooke and Root were batting, you would have argued that was a huge position of strength where expectation of England would have been getting up to a total that Australia are probably going to put on, and now Smith's going to show them what should have been done, and the fear is now that they're going to get a massive lead and they're going to bowl us out and win by batting once, which would be a
Yeah.
bit of a shame for Usman Khawaja, because
Yeah.
he's going to retire and not. And I did watch Uzi leave the field, and you can't do it in the first innings, give the wave. But I did look at that and thought that could be the way he's going to walk off for the last time in
Yeah.
Test
I thought
cricket,
that as
because
well. Yeah.
if Steve Smith gets a big, if they get in, they're not going to bat again.
No, no, that's right. And England's bowlers are getting sprayed all around the park. I mean, Matthew Potts went for naught for 141. Poor bloke. He's going to wish that he actually did a Shoaib Bashir and sat on the bench all the time. What's bizarre though is I don't know if you've seen this, but given the fact that Australia are so dominant in this series, it seems very odd that Stuart Clark has come out and chosen today or yesterday to come out with a very strange quote, which is that, and I'll read this to you. He says, then you have George, so George Bailey, who's the chairman of selectors. Does he have the gravitas or the leadership skills to tell Andrew McDonald and Steve Smith or Pat Cummins what to do? He should, 100%, but I don't think he does. And Todd Greenberg, the Cricket Australia chairman, CEO, has come up and said he stepped over the lines, all a bit personal, whatever. Is there personal beef between any of those characters, do you know?
Well, you're right. It possibly, because it seems like Australia, they've done well. They've won the Ashes, and you've then got these past players turning on them like they've lost the Ashes. Hayden
Yeah,
the other day came out and gave Michael Divenuto a massive spray and said
yeah, I saw,
he should
yeah.
be out of a job. Yeah, and so you've now got this situation where it's just random, isn't it? Because I'm
Yeah,
sure at that level, like, if I think of, I don't know what's going on there, but if I think of the Rob Key, and the way that operates, it's a chat, and maybe this has all that I can think of. This has come about because of Steve Smith saying what he's said, and then and leaving out a spinner, and him almost saying, "Oh well,
okay.
I was backed into a corner," but at the same time, you've now got people saying, "Well, hang on a minute, it's Steve Smith's choice that he hasn't played a spinner in this test," and so now your head honchos above him should be giving more directive. But at the same time, you don't want too many voices coming in. It's a bit like the owners of football teams at the end of a match or before a match, coming in and giving the team talk and saying, you've got to play this way, this is what you've got to do, because that doesn't do any good either. So for me, it's weird. It's just odd, the fact Australia have won this Ashes series, and yes, they lost the last test and what have you, but all of a sudden they've just a few of their greats have turned on their own side, which for me is just a bit random.
Yeah, it is a bit odd, isn't it? Did you have that with your '05 side? Did Michael Vaughan have? I mean, Michael Vaughan's leading the side onto the pitch. Did he have more of a say as to the makeup of that playing 11 than Duncan Fletcher did?
Well, we would actually, and again, this is where I don't know, um, and it comes across that they don't. Is we had a leadership group of which I was part of for quite a while, where we would meet before the rest of the group and go through all those discussions, and it would be it'd be a very open discussion where we were
Mm.
planning, and so it wasn't just a couple of guys, it wasn't just the coach and captain, it was a senior leadership group, and the comments of Zach Crawley the other day comes across to me, shouts that they don't have this current group don't
Yeah,
have it.
yeah.
They probably
Yeah.
whether they don't believe in it. And so you then have, so it is dangerous when you have a very small minority making the decisions, and um so with that, that's all I think. I think you need it's a leadership group that I was involved with that goes towards selecting. Bit difficult when you're in the leadership group and you're sitting there thinking, I wonder if I'm going to play the next test match. I'll be honest, I've been in that situation.
Yeah. um, okay, so Australia, big lead. They're going to bat all day tomorrow and bat England out the game. And I'm sure that some of those England players are just looking forward to that flight at home. They've only got 10 days off, some of them, before they go off to Sri Lanka and the T20 World Cup, which we're going to do some coverage on when that starts at the start of February. But before that, we're going to next week we're going to have a Q&A show. So if you've got any burning questions or comments or stuff, we've had hundreds already. Stick them in the comments to this show, and we will try and address them. Someone who has messaged us before, Ashok Mehta, and I'll read you an example of what we're looking for. He suggested that we should wake up and smell the coffee. That's you, me, not me. But no, okay, both of us. And accept that England is a very poor side. How many current players would fit into the Australian side, he asks. You don't have to answer that, because I think in that show we'll also try and do, or in one of the shows, maybe on the final day of this series, let's do a combined England-Australia 11. And that might answer some of his questions, but there you go. Right, cop that, my favourite feature, as you know. I'm going to make the case for the defence of Jamie Smith, which is interesting, given the fact that I'm talking to an ex-England wicketkeeper who was in that side because of his batting prowess, i.e. you. And I just think that some of the pylon on Jamie Smith yesterday was over the top. I think it's such an easy opportunity, isn't it, by ex-players to sit in commentary boxes, and in the media and write articles about I would have done this and he shouldn't have done that and it's this and that. But I'm going with something that you said before, which was when we were talking about Ollie Pope, and you said that it was up here, right? You were full. You couldn't have clarity. You couldn't make decisions. Needed a rest. And I think Jamie Smith is in that position, because if I bore you for a second with some numbers, which includes yours, by the way, Jamie Smith so far has only played 19 tests. He's scored 1,200 runs, 200s and 750s. He scored that 180 odd with Harry Brook when they put on a stand of 303 against India when England were 84 for 5. He averages 41. If I compare that with Ben Stokes, who averages 29, Josh Buttler averages 31, Geraint Jones averages 23. Josh has scored more runs because he's played 3 times as many tests as Jamie Smith. You've got 100. Buttler and Stokes have got 2. Jamie Smith by far is the better batsman of all of those 3 ex-England wicketkeepers. And how important, therefore, is his keeping? Because he actually stood up today. He stood up to somebody. I know we had a chat yesterday when I asked you how important that is. So my case for the defence is that he is potentially an England great. Just that today he's tired and he's shot. He needs a break. He hasn't been picked for the T20 stuff. Great. Josh Buttler's there. Rest him, get him ready to face New Zealand on home conditions, where he's going to smash the ball out of the park, and we're all going to forget the shot that he played yesterday against Marnus Labuschagne. That, my lad, is the case for the defence.
I agree. Am I meant to?
No, you're supposed to say, what a load of old rubbish, Sanjay. Get him out. Get Ben Stokes back in. Bring in Jack Russell, etc.
No chance. Mate, no chance. The guy averages double what I did in Test cricket for a period of time. He's, I'm in no position to tell. But what I will say is, yes, he needs a rest. And that this series has highlighted some traits of Smith that, again, that he needs to go away and reflect and work on. One of those big ones is the way he leads the side out on the field. and I know it's his
Okay.
nature. I watched it, and I watched him. And and I think he needs to offer the team more energy. You know, he he casually moves around. You know, as a keeper, I was determined to get up to the stumps. I'm talking about for throws in from the deep. And
Yeah.
a lot of throws. I know Matt Pryor talked very passionately about this as well, and I was in agreement. And that's something that Smith needs to have a look at, because your job as a wicketkeeper is to lead the fielders. Okay, it's not the captain's job. He's got enough to do. Your job is to set the standards and lead, and that is with your energy. And the one thing that I'd say that Smith needs to look at and address, and it's not going to be comfortable, because at the moment he's operating very, very comfortably the way he's keeping. All right, he gives the perception that there's minimal physical effort being given out there. Whereas actually, as a keeper, you want to give the buzz, be the bit of a pest out there, be running up to the stumps, demanding that throw over the top. Whereas I watch England, and I watch their throws in. Smith's in some area. I can't even see the stumps in view. The throws are coming in at his ankles. He sort of cleans them up and moves on. Whereas for me, I just want him to go. I want him to drive a higher standard. And you've said 17 catches. So I want Smith to,
We
but
dropped. Yeah.
17 catches been dropped. I want Smith to be the driver of a higher England fielding standard, and that comes from him personally. So that's the one area that I'm looking at, which I think he needs to be spoken with. I don't. You've got McCullum who kept wicket, you know, but other than
Mm.
that, who is he working with, and who's he reflecting with to say? Because you always need to look to get better. And for me, that is one area of Smith, and then that could lead to him being, yes, he dropped the catch, but other than that, he's been okay behind the stumps, hasn't he? It's not like he's been
No,
spilling
exactly.
chances left, right, and centre. So yeah, there's just some tweaks he needs to make, and the rest coming up is perfect for him.
England aren't going to jettison Jamie Smith. He's going to be the keeper when England plays New Zealand in the start of the summer. Do you think? And at Surrey, which is his county, Ben Stokes keeps. Do you think Rob Key, like in football, you get loan agreements and stuff? Do you think Rob Key, and they've done it with Shoaib Bashir to an extent, should say to Surrey and to Jamie Smith, we need you to go and play somewhere else, another Div 1 county as the keeper, and make that arrangement so that Jamie Smith gets more domestic keeping experience to help his game at an international level?
Yeah, I think it's got to be looked at. How can your England keeper not be keeping for their county? You
Yeah,
know, that's madness in my eyes, because it comes down, because again, physically, when you're keeping all the time in county cricket, you're preparing yourself to be able to do it at the highest level for 5 days at Test match cricket. If you're not
yeah,
doing it and then you come to a Test match, you're then doing all your preparation in the warm up days. No wonder then he's not physically exerting himself hugely during the Test match, because it's not something he does all the time. And
yeah,
so he potentially is playing the long game, thinking, right, I need to. So yeah, I 100% agree that something needs to be looked at, that Smith should be keeping day in, day out for every team he plays in.
yeah. Yeah, I think it had to have a massive go at Jamie Smith, because it's just easy, isn't it, to do that if you're sitting in a commentary box and watching on. But yeah, good to see you supporting the Keepers Union there. It's good work by you. Subscriber call time. Thank you very much for watching and listening to Jonesy and I ramble on about cricket. It would help us a lot if you could subscribe to @Sanjay Murthy Cricket on YouTube and close a play on Spotify and Apple. It just helps us get the algorithms like that sort of stuff. It helps us get the program and the episodes out to more people. The algorithm works in your favor, blah, blah, blah. If you can do it, that would be great. Now, Jonesy, true or false time? It's 9-8.
Yeah.
It's getting close. I know you've just written down the score, haven't you?
Man.
There's only today and 2 more days left. I can feel a victory in the Sanjay Murthy corner. But this keeping the keepers union theme going, I'm only going to take you back to 2001, and Alex Stewart became Shane Warne's 400th Test wicket? Okay, that's a fact. That's not your question. That's not your true or false. But the question is, was it the first time Warne had achieved 100 landmark away from Australia? That's your true or false. True that yes, it is the first time, or false? No, it wasn't the first time. Do you need it again?
100,
You're looking up your screen, aren't you? Are you looking up at your computer to see what the answer is?
No, that's my thinking pose.
I see.
That's
Listen,
my.
well, you've got history,
it.
mate. You've got history on this co-piloting an answer to something before.
Look, nothing. No, my screens are here. Look, no, there's no hands movement. There's no. Ah, man, 100.
So is it the first time?
So it's first.
Yeah. So IE was 100, 200, and 300 away from home. Were any of those?
I'm trying. Yeah, well, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm completely bamboozled with all these.
See?
My mind's gone.
You are Jamie Smith.
True.
It is true. Unbelievable guess.
Yes.
It was the first time. So 10-8. That's not what I expected. I thought you'd have gone false on that one. Yeah, the 100th was Brian McMillan in Adelaide. 200 was Hashan Tilakaratne in Perth. 300 was Dave Richardson in Sydney. And then, Alex Stewart was the 400th one, and that was at the Oval. Day 3 at the Oval. And then 500 was a Gordon Tilakaratne again. I'll come back to you on 600. 700 was fittingly MCG and Strauss. 600 was Old Trafford 05. You would have been there. Can you remember who the victim was?
Is either Trescothick or Strauss?
Which one is it? Because it is one of those two.
Yeah, I'm trying to think there's something in my head that Strauss was Straussy both of them. That's more what I'm. I think Straussy might have been both of them.
You'd have been sat there, feet on the balcony with your latte, reading whatever you were reading at the time, watching Marcus Trescothick get done by Shackleton for a 600 wicket. There you go. Right. Actually, go on.
Do you want my reasoning why I got that right? My reasoning for why I got that right is because.
Oh, right. Yeah.
No. Because that Warne played a lot. That he did play sort of away Test match series. Obviously, he was probably playing at home in a 5-match series every summer. So there was more chance that in those five tests that he was going to get that landmark. See, proper thinking.
Because there was only 2 out of the 7 that were away, and they were both in England. Old Trafford and the Oval. Very good. Good thought process. You should be a teacher. Right. Yesterday I said to you about
that means I'm dormy, doesn't it? You can't beat me on that. It's to bring in a golf term. I'm dormy now.
You are dormy. Yeah, you're dormy 10, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the best I can do now. Is gonna have to make sure that tomorrow's a shocker. Yesterday I said to you about T20 and 50-year-olds playing franchise cricket. I did a little bit of a look, and I found out that a bloke called Andrew Brownlee played for the Falkland Islands versus Costa Rica in a T20 international in March of last year, age 62. And he beat another bloke whose name I can't remember, who played for Costa Rica just before, in April of that year, I think, or something like that. Anyway, so no, 61-year-old played in April that year. But a bloke called Pravin Tambe played in the IPL for the Rajasthan Royals in 2013 at the age 41. And what's interesting with him, he had no experience of professional cricket at all. Rahul Dravid, an ex-teammate of yours at Kent, decided that he was going to be the man for him. So there you go. Some oldies have played T20. So I think there's going to be a 50-year-old, I've got to say. Now, to close this off, what's in a name? Which is another great game I've invented. So my team yesterday was eventually we got it right when Alison got our spelling sorted out, even though she was blaming me for a lack of copy proofreading ability was so. Remember, it's your first and last names. Your last name makes up your 12. Mine was Sehwag, Atherton, Nixon, Jayawardena, Adams, Yunus Khan, Mitch Marsh, Umagul, Rabada, Thompson, Herath, and Wakar Yunus was my 12th man. You've got your side ready. What is it? Because I don't think it's going to beat that.
Wow, mate, my side, no matter, we're going to concede 1,000, but we're going to score 1,500 to win the Test match.
Right. Okay.
I'm a bit light on
Interesting.
bowlers.
Yeah.
And one
Really,
of my
you could fit into Ben
bowlers has
Stokes'
got a few injury
coaching.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to start with, at the top, Graham Smith.
That doesn't
Then
count.
followed by
The G. That doesn't count. The G's got to be the surname.
what? No,
The
that's.
G's
I
the
looked at yours and
surname.
they're
So
all over the place.
I even said to you yesterday, Gooch, Edrich, whatever. I mean, right. So that's
No,
I've won the first test on that basis.
Oh well, I'll go Ganguly then. Who
Okay,
else
go
can
on
I
then.
come up with? I'll come up with another G then. Well, this is going to ruin me the whole way down. Listen to my
Exactly.
side, but listen to
Go
my
on.
rules, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, my rules and my much better way of doing it was
Yeah, because you
was
did
right. So
listen to
Graham
the first.
Smith,
Yeah.
yeah. Then Owen Morgan. It starts with an E,
It,
right?
yeah, go on. Yeah.
Roll
So,
Dravid,
I feel sorry for the kids that you teach.
Adam Gilchrist. So in your rules, I haven't got one right yet. But
It's
what a side this
appalling.
is. My
Oh,
team's much,
yeah. I mean, anyone could
my
have done
team's much
that.
better.
I could have opened with Sachin Tendulkar. I could have gone Sachin Tendulkar, Adam
Well,
Gilchrist. You know, crikey. So I think
you didn't
it's
though. That's
fair
where
to
you
say.
messed.
I think it's fair to
That's
say
where you
I
messed
won
up.
the
Hold
first
on,
test. God.
Ian Bell, Nathan Astor. I put him in because he was my first, as Wumpy Rabbit knows, or where he.
Yeah, mate, he hasn't listened. Sorry,
He's in,
Alison. I
so
don't know
he
what I'm
knows.
supposed to do. Yeah, exactly. He's still
Yeah.
talking though. Go
Okay.
on. Go on.
Here's this is my first. So by your rules, rubbish rules, Marcus
Right.
Trescothick.
My
There you
rules.
go.
Yeah, my game.
Is that my first one that actually works? All right.
Well, is it Trescothick?
Simon Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Using
Simon
your own
Jones.
surname. Yeah,
There you
fine.
go.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a bit of bowling to do, Si. He might. Owe Shah.
You can
So
have
these are
that
all
one.
people I played with. Yeah. Nasser Hussain for the second end.
You are old.
Ed Joyce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nasser was one of the. I wound him up a treat on the first tour I had, which was to Bangladesh. Green old me played 1 year in the first team at Kent, scored some runs against, and so I got picked and I got seated next to Nas on our flight to Bangladesh, and I properly wound him up because I'd bought myself a new Casio watch because I was tight. I thought for the tour I need to make sure I'm on time. I had no idea how it worked, and I spent the first bit of the flight trying to work out how this watch worked, and I properly annoyed Nas. So, and we always used to room next to each other, and so Nasser would bat tap, and he'd be bat tapping, and I'd tell him in the morning, I could hear him. But anyway, so yeah, Nasser's in. Ed Joyce,
He's in twice so
played
far.
someone, and then Satchet. What?
We said
no,
him
no,
before.
I didn't.
But go on.
I
You
said
got
him.
still 15
I
in this side. That's wrong.
No, I didn't say it. I think I didn't say Ed Joyce twice. I just
Yeah.
mentioned it, and then final Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah. Anyway, 1-0 to me in the first test. Fine innings, I think. So lucky you've got second
proper
in
way to do it.
Yeah. As I pointed out, it's my game. I made it up, my rules. So there you go. So have another go tomorrow.
I'm going to go back and look at yours.
Yeah, well, I've just told you what it is. I'll tell you again. It's Sehwag, Sanjay. Actually, I've got it. No, yeah, Sanjay. Well, what was your first one?
Yeah. Yeah,
What,
exactly.
what was your vote?
Exactly.
Who was your
You've
first
got
player?
Saywag. Your
Who,
first letter is S. Graham
who was your?
Smith for G for Geraint.
No, that's right.
Oh,
I'm
I
right.
see.
So your first surname of your first player should start with G. I'm right. Saywag, Atherton, Nixon,
Oh,
Jaiwardena, Adams, Yunus Khan, Mitch Marsh, Umar Gul, Roberto Thompson, Herath and Yunus, Sanjay Murthy. That's how
right.
it works. It's the game. Anyway, you've got
Yeah.
24 hours to get yourself back
I
in
didn't
order.
like it, so I changed the rules.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. You've got 24 hours to sort your stuff out. England have got 24 hours to actually get some sort of level of respect back in this test match. Australia have closed at 518 for 7. You know, they're going to bat as long as they're not, there's no sign of a declaration. I wouldn't have thought they're going to grind England into the dirt. And Jonesy, you and I are going to discuss that, and I might make this Ben Stokes captaincy my cop that feature for tomorrow. Let's see. But anyway, you go enjoy the rest of your day telling the kids what to do, even though you didn't listen to what I said. And I will speak with you tomorrow.
All right, mate. Will do.
Thank you for all of your support for the work that we do here at Close of Play. But to help us, if you could subscribe to Close of Play on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also at Sanjay Murthy Cricket on YouTube. It'll help us, we can get more content out there, get more guests, and keep bringing you our, let's hope, unique views on the game that we all love. Thank you very much.